Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I'm very excited to share with you guys my collaboration with Spellbinders, and this is the All the Tools dies. So you're going to get 25 dies in this set. When you get your packaging, you will have all the tools assembled. So what I want to show you in this video is which pieces go with which. It's actually very easy, but I know a lot of you guys are interested in this, and you're going to wonder, hey, what goes with what? So I'm going to make a really quick video for you. I am going to be using the large platinum. It's going to make it easy. And I wanted to give you guys some options here on paper. So we have, of course, the Spellbinders Mirror Silver cardstock. This is a staple in my craft room. I also have some Lunar Gray cardstock. And we have the brushed silver cardstock. So there are quite a few options over at Spellbinders if you wanted colored cardstock. Now, I'm going to make this very simple. And the majority of what I'm going to do is going to be on heavy white cardstock. So this is 100-pound just white cardstock. And I do have a piece of the silver mirror cardstock, which is almost very delicate. It's like a real kind of metallic paper there. And because we're using the big Spellbinders Platinum, and just so you guys know, the new machines come with the universal cutting plate. So it comes with everything you need to die cut, to emboss, to do the 3D embossing folders. But all we need for this is platform A and the 2 cutting plates, which are the 2 clear plates. So I'm going to take the rest of these away. All right, and then this also does fold open. It's just a larger opening. So instead of this being a 6-inch opening, I believe this is an 8.5-inch opening, because here is an 8.5 sheet of paper, and you can see that fits in. So this is an 8.5-inch wide opening, and it folds up and it cranks the same way as the smaller platinum. So if you've been looking for a bigger machine, and yes, this does work with your glimmer as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with base platform A. We're going to put our bottom cutting plate in, and then I have a full sheet of 8.5, again, piece of paper, thick paper. Come on, camera, focus. Maybe it'll focus better. And then let me tell you what the tools are here. And I'm going to keep some of the smaller silver pieces off, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so let's do the paintbrush. So this is the paintbrush handle. Okay, this is the paintbrush actual brush part. This is the actual paint. And then this metal piece I'm going to cut out of the silver. That is the metal piece that holds the brush onto the paint. So we're going to do that one out of silver. And then we have a wrench. I'm going to do that out of silver. This piece here is the center of the wrench. So these two go together like that. Just gives it a more layered look. So we're going to do that out of silver as well. I'm just going to put these off to the side here, and we'll cut those out separately. There's another wrench, and this is a crescent wrench, and you have 3 pieces to this. So you have the crescent wrench. This, again, is just an additional piece that helps to give that some dimension. And then this is the other part of the crescent wrench and the kind of the adjustment mechanism. So we're going to cut all of those out of silver. And I will show you guys how I color and assemble everything here. Okay, the next pieces we have are, we have a measuring stick or a ruler. So there's 2 pieces to that. We're going to cut both of those out of white. We have our saw, and I'm going to cut this piece out of silver. The rest of these this is the 2-part handle, and again, I'll assemble everything. We have the paint roller, which is 3 pieces. This part I'm going to do out of silver. The handle and the nap I'm going to do out of white. We have our screwdriver and handle. We have our hammer and handle. And then we have our tin snips and the 2 handles. All right, and then I think this one is part of, yes, this is the top part of the paintbrush. Okay. So when you have the larger machine, it makes it easy to cut everything out Actually, let's cut all of these out, and then I'll come back and I'll add we'll just layer the silver pieces on top. We're going to cut everything out of white. And I'll come back and add those other ones. And you just want to space them so you have enough room. Now, obviously, I could have done a better job at putting everything closer or further apart, but that's okay. And then all you're going to do is put your top plate on. And I actually fit all 25 dies on there. And we're just going to crank it through. And I'm missing something because that is not cranking through. What am I missing? Oh, platform B. I forgot. It's thick. It's thinner now. I'm like, that's not cutting through, you guys. Okay. So I'm going to remove my 2 cutting plates. A, B, 2 cutting plates in the dies in the universal system. And some of my dies move, so let's make sure they're not going to cut on top of anything. We want them next to each other. All right. There we go. Now we're cutting. All right. Now, I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to move this out of the way. I don't want to dislodge those yet, so we're just going to move this out of the way. Pull my 2 cutting plates off. And here's where I get a little creative. I did not want to have to cut multiple colors of each item. So we're going to move these over just to some magnetic sheets. But I want to leave my paper intact. I do not want to pull those dies off yet. I'm going to show you why here in just a second. This is a great set, whether you have a handyman in your life or maybe you're a DIY kind of fixer person. Or someone's moving out on their own or just bought their first house and they're remodeling it and they're painting. You know, spring is the time of year when everybody kind of gets in the mood to start fixing things up around the house and the yard and stuff like that. So this set is really universal. Does not have to be just for men. And I'm trying to put these together so that I have all of the pieces next to each other when I go to use them again. And I will point out each piece as I assemble it, so again, you guys know what goes with one. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat here, and I still have my cutting mat underneath, which is fine, and I'm going to color these, right? So you can go through and obviously cut them out of colored paper if you wanted to, but this is a much easier way for me to do it. And there is no right or wrong way. It is your imagination, whatever you want to do with it. So I'm just going to grab some gray and silver markers. You can use whatever you have. You can use Copic markers. You can use watercolor markers. You can use paint. You can use lunar paste. You can use anything you have. And I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to color these tools. So for the ones that I think should be metallic looking, I'm just using a gray marker. Now, if I get marker on my cutting plate, that's okay. It's very easy to clean up with just a little rubbing alcohol, so I'm not going to worry about that. This way, I don't lose any of my pieces. I see what goes with what. And you can see I didn't have to do anything special for the embossing. That embossing shows right up as soon as you cut it with the Spellbinders machine. And again, this is just regular thick cardstock. Nothing special about this. And I am just using a gray Copic marker. Again, nothing super special here. All right, I think that's most everything that I want to be kind of metallic looking, pretty sure. And then everything else would be whatever color you want it to be. So, for example, if I wanted things to be wooden, I would cut them, or color them, I should say, in a wooden color, right? And again, no right or wrong way. Use your imagination. If you wanted pink tools, color everything pink. If you want a set of rainbow tools, make them rainbow. Whatever you want. This handle is actually embossed to have a little wood grain on it. And by the way, you can interchange some of these handles. If you don't like the handle that is with the tool, you can change the color. You don't have to use it the way that it's set up on the packaging. It's, again, your imagination. You do what you want with it. To re-ink this one. Oh yeah, that's totally dried out. Okay. Just grabbing random colors, you guys, and just having fun coloring them. All right, so now is the fun part. And you're going to want a fine-tipped glue bottle and maybe some tweezers. I didn't want these too small, so you shouldn't really need too much help here. Or a little pickup stick. If you have like jewelry like beads or something you do, a little sticky pickup stick will help. And we're going to pop these out. And then I'm going to show you how I put each one together. And there are, I think, only like 2 really small pieces. And it doesn't really matter if you don't use them. Okay, so you can see how I got everything pretty much colored there. Make sure everything's popped out here. Okay. And then I'm leaving them on my cutting plate because it makes it easier to find them. Now, I know there was a couple that popped out that I didn't get colored. The paintbrush and stuff. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to put these together one at a time. Let's count the pieces and make sure we have all 25 dies here. So we have 1, 2, 3 for the saw, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's in his centerpiece. Oh, here it is. 17. Oh, I might be off one. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There's one more. So that one comes with 2 dies, so I think they count those together. And then these are the extra pieces. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom you guys in a little closer, just so you can see how I put each tool together one by one. I will show you what the die looks like, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. So I have another piece of paper here. I'm just going to slide this over to the side. All right, and we're going to start with the easy ones, and as I put them together, we'll take them off of here and move them off so you guys understand which ones they are. So the first one I'm going to do is the ruler. That's pretty easy. It's just 2 pieces. Okay, so it's just those 2 pieces. The bottom one I color black, and then this one any color you want. And when you assemble that, there is like a hanging hole at the top there you can poke out. So if you were hanging these tools in your shed or your garage, you'd want little handles or whatever on them. And then all you're going to do here is, for the 2 pieces, whoa, make sure your glue is not all watery. I just opened this one, so it's brand new. Still squirting water. There we go. And that's all you're going to do for this one is just put your glue down. Line up the 2 holes at the top there. And that's all that is for the ruler. Okay, very simple. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is the saw, and the saw has 3 pieces. So we have the saw blade, same thing. There's a little hole that you can poke out that's supposed to hang it up. And then we have 2 pieces to the handle. Generally, this piece I think is supposed to be wooden, and then this piece is like metal. But you can see there are 3 pieces to the saw. Very easy to do here. You're going to take the inner piece, and this is optional. You don't have to cut this inner piece, but it just, again, gives it more dimension. And you want the wavy side to face up. See how the wavy side is here? So we want the wavy side to face up. And we're just going to put, again, a little bit of glue there. And it'll fit right over the handle and ooze glue everywhere. And I'm using art glitter glue because art glitter glue dries very fast. Okay, and then we have our saw blade. And the saw blade looks really cool when you cut it out of metallic paper. But there's actually an indentation. There's a line there that makes it easier to line up. And there's a line, and it goes down and up right there. And you just line your handle up to that line. And try not to have gooey glue oozing out everywhere. So, you know, that handle looks nice if you cut it out of wood or color it brown and then make the actual saw part metal. So there's the saw. Okay, it lines up well. So we're going to move that to done and move these guys over here. Trying to shake up my glue here so we don't have runny glue. Okay, I think we're a little better now. All right. The next one I'm going to do for you guys is the hammer. There is 2 pieces for the hammer. Now, this little centerpiece that pops out of the handle there, you can decide to leave the hammer the way that it is, and it cuts out like this, and you can color it, and it's fine. This is the extra handle piece, okay? And then there's a little centerpiece which pops out of there. I'm going to not use that. I'm going to disregard it. But when you glue the handle on, same thing. There is a little notch on the handle here. There's a longer V and then a smaller little hill here. So you want to make sure that you don't glue this upside down. So that longer notch V goes at the top and the shorter one goes at the bottom. And then if you wanted to glue that center, you can glue the center in or you can leave it out. So I'm just going to use my tweezers to help me line it up. And again, this is optional. You don't have to add this piece. These are just the little things that Spellbinders adds to make them a little more decorative for you, but you don't have to use them. Now, if you don't like that being black, you can certainly make this any color you want and glue that back in. Whatever you want to do. You could have made it black, you could have left it, whatever it is. So that is the hammer. Just remember the V is at the top there. And you can see all of that dimension is embossed in there. Really good job by Spellbinders on that one. Okay, so we're going to move those 2 out of the way. Then we have, there's 2 wrenches. All right. I'm going to move this one. So the regular wrench is very, very easy. You have 2 pieces. And all you're going to do is cut that center piece out and glue it in. And again, it just gives it more dimension. You can cut it out of a different color if you want to. It is totally up to you. But that's it for the wrench. And it's just 2 pieces for the wrench. Okay. And then we have the crescent wrench. And this one is a little bit more complicated. So let me show you why. You have this tiny little piece and you can decide to use it or not use it. But you don't want to lose this piece. Okay. This piece is optional. This piece you don't want to lose. So the same thing with the handle. So we have the little poke out here at the top to hang it from the handle. And then you do want to poke out these 2 little pieces here. You do not need those 2 little pieces, okay? And so on a crescent wrench, there's a little gear in here, and you spin it and it opens and closes the crescent wrench. So we have this triangle piece which goes in the center, and again, it cuts out and it embosses where this should go. So this is a little piece. You're just going to glue that in. Okay. And then this tiny little piece here, you can glue that in. That's the only one that's really little. It's this little guy here. Okay. And so what you would do, and it's optional, but you would glue him right there. That's it. Okay. And then this is the other part of the crescent wrench. So when you turn this on the actual tool, this slides back and forth on the crescent wrench. Okay. So what you would do is just glue this flat side down onto your wrench. So just a little bit of glue there, and then we're going to put our wrench on top. And you can make it as close or as far away as you want it. Okay, and then that is what the crescent wrench looks like. Okay, so that one is 3 pieces. You have the wrench, you have the top of the wrench, and then you have the little extra piece on the handle there. And then again, once all this glue dries, it will all be clear. Okay, that's the only one that has a small piece that you really don't want to lose when you're cutting it out. The rest of them are pretty easy to put together. Okay, so we have put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools. All right, so the next one is a screwdriver. Very easy to do. You have the screwdriver, and then you have the optional wooden handle. Again, you can leave it the way that it looks, or you can color the wood handle. There is another small optional piece, so I can just put my handle on here. Okay, and it looks good like that, but there is a little piece on top of the handle that it cuts out. And it's just designed, again, as an extra accent piece, so you don't have to use it. I don't like the color of that one, so I'm going to color it black. And again, a little dab of glue. And just pick that up with my jewel picker and glue it into place. And that is our flathead screwdriver. And it's hard to see here, but that does have a wood imprint to it. If I would taken my time and colored it better, you'd see it better, but I was doing it in a rush. So that is our screwdriver. Just 2 pieces for that one. Okay, I only have a couple tools left. The next one is the tin snips. And it is 3 pieces. Very easy. You have your snips and then you have your handle. Handles. Same thing. Color them whatever color you want. Garden snips, tin snips, whatever you want to call them or use them for. With all the florals Spellbinders had, these would be beautiful if you wanted to use them as garden snips. And that's all that one is. And that is this die, and you have 1 for each handle. And again, you don't have to cut the handles out. You can just color them any way you want. But adding that extra gives it a little bit more stability. And again, you can cut it out of colored cardstock. Obviously, I just used marker, but you could do all of these with colored cardstock, and they would look much cleaner. And then we just have 2 left, which is the paintbrush and the paint roller, and these are the ones that have the most pieces. Okay, and again, here is another handle. So if you didn't like the handle that was on the screwdriver, you can cut that off and use this as a different handle. You don't have to use the handle that comes with it. You can cut that off and use this handle, or vice versa. If you don't like this handle that goes with the paint roller, you can use the wooden handle. It's totally up to you. You can kind of mix and match these a little bit if you wanted to. And like I said, I think I've shown you guys that you don't have to use every piece. You can cut some out and not use them if you wanted to. All right. So I like the paintbrush and the paint rollers because I think a lot of people do their own kind of DIY fixing. And the number one thing I think people do is they paint, right? You remodel your living room, you paint the kids' rooms. Maybe somebody's moving out on their own. If they're getting into their first place, the first thing they want to do is paint, things like that. So we're going to start with the paint roller. It is very simple. There's 3 pieces to the paint roller. You have the actual roller, and you're going to pop out the 2 pieces on the roller here. Okay, that's your frame. And this is the sponge roller. And all this does normally is it slides right onto the roller. So all we're going to do here is just add a little bit of glue onto the roller and put our sponge on there. Okay. And then we're just going to glue the handle on. And so you're just going to put a little bit of glue down here. Pick up your handle or whichever handle you want and glue that on. Very easy to do. So that's the 3 pieces for the roller. And that's another reason why I've used some heavier cardstock. Colored cardstock is great, but if you're going to use a thinner cardstock, you may want to glue it on top of heavier white cardstock or thicker cardstock, because that's a pretty fine detail there, and you don't want it to be too flimsy or thin, so thicker cardstock is better. So that's our paint roller. And then last but not least is our paintbrush. And I think the paintbrush is the one that's going to get the most use because everybody can use a paintbrush for so many different things. And there are a couple different pieces here for the paintbrush. So for the paintbrush, we have the handle to the paintbrush. Oh, and this is the one I didn't color. So let's just grab a marker and color it quick. And again, I love the fact that Spellbinders put embossing in there, not only to give you detail, but it makes it easier to assemble because you can see where things are supposed to line up. Okay, so just like before, there is a handle on here, and you may want to hang this up in your garage. So this is just the reinforcement to that handle. Okay. And then we have a metal piece which connects the bristles to the brush. We have the actual brush, and then we have our paint. Okay, so we have 4 pieces here, or 5, sorry. 5 pieces. So how you're going to assemble that is you're going to glue your handle reinforcement. Very easy to do. Okay. And then I like to do my brush next. So you can do this a couple ways. You can put the brush underneath, which is what I'm going to do. Or you can sandwich it in between, but you're just going to use a little bit of glue there. And then I'm going to put this under my brush. You can put it on top of your brush, but I'm going to put it behind my brush handle. So I'm going to put it like that. Okay. And then again, these are supposed to be just like screw holes or rivet holes that are holding this. And this is a metal piece that holds everything together. So ideally, you could put the bristles there and then glue this on top, or you can put the bristles underneath. That is totally up to you. And I do like to poke that little screw piece out so you can line up these 2 holes with the 2 holes that are on here. So That's the paintbrush. Okay, so lots of little layers there, but I think it's worth it in the end. That's the paintbrush. And then you have the option of using the paint splatter, I guess, or the paint coating of paint. And what you would do there is, again, whatever color you want. Cut it out of colored cardstock or color it with colored cardstock. And you're just going to put a little bit of glue on the edges of your bristles here. And when you put this on, it's the flat part that goes out. We think it goes like this, but it doesn't. It goes flat part out. Because you will have wiped this paintbrush either on the wall or on the edge of the bucket. So you want your paint to be coming off of the paintbrush like that. And I just love the paintbrush and the roller together. Again, somebody's moving into an apartment. Somebody's doing some remodeling. And I did a card with this using the splatter background embossing folder from Spellbinders. And it just came together beautifully. Maybe somebody's new to the neighborhood, something like that. So that is 5 pieces for the paintbrush. And I'm going to show you guys all the tools here. So again, you have 25 dies in this set, and you're going to be able to create all of these tools. So you get the paintbrush, you get the paint roller, get the screwdriver, you get the snips, you get the hammer, the saw, the ruler, and the 2 wrenches. So hopefully that helps you guys when you guys get your set. And again, it's you're going to get this in your packaging as well. So if you don't understand where a tool piece goes, just look at your packaging here and see where it goes. And that will help you out. And you can see here they cut them out of the metallic cardstock, and it really does look cool. And there you go. If you have any questions, post them below. If you are interested in purchasing the set, again, designed by me. I'm so excited and so happy to have a chance to collaborate with Spellbinders. I'll have the links down below for you guys. It's officially available on March 10th at Spellbinders, but as soon as I find it, I'll put the links for you guys to be able to get it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.